All right, ladies and gents, happy Soulful Sunday. It is March 22nd. We are capping off the third week since the start of the 90-day run that we've been on. And now is an opportunity for us to really have some good conversation around that, because typically what will happen at this stage of the game is that you will discover what your parameters are. You will discover some of your blind spots, and we'll talk about that as well. And maybe there could be some tweaks that you can make as we move forward. So what I would like to do starting off is I would love to hear from you in terms of the 90-day run. For those of you that said to yourself at the beginning, yes, I would like to do that. I want to participate. You're a part of the Accelerate group on the WhatsApp chat. I would love to hear what's happening for you. What have you learned about yourself? Are you doing more than you thought you would? Did you think you would be doing more and you're not? I would love to get some of your feedback on the first 3 weeks of the 90-day run.
It's Deirdre. I'll go first. Hello.
Hey.
Hi. So, initially I was in a groove. I thought I was going to be doing a lot more than I did, but I think with everything unexpected that happened, it kind of like, it moved me in a different direction, but I am ready to get back on the ball and continue to grind, because I know I'm perfectly capable of a whole lot more. So I sold myself a little bit short, and I'm using the excuse of like the coronavirus and making adjustments and getting things ready and da-da-da-da-da. Things with my job, we had to get that situated. So, you know, it is what it is, and I'm ready to like hit the ground running again starting tomorrow morning.
That's good. Listen, Deirdre, this is a part of for everybody here. Some of you already know this very well. This is part of the journey of being a professional in network marketing. You're going to hit the reset button on yourself virtually every day. You have really good intentions, and sometimes you're like, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and you do like 1/3 of it. Other days you do 10 times more than you thought you would ever do. But giving yourself the ability to start over. And sometimes you'll have to start over every day because you're still trying to nail that day where you're really in the zone and you're getting the work done. So that's a really good point, and I appreciate that share. Who else wants to jump in there?
It's Chris Cruz.
Hey.
So I'm gonna just piggyback off of what Deirdre just said, because it's kind of the same with me, where I wasn't completely asleep, but definitely sleepwalking. So I was like getting customers, even a few customers daily, because that's just the easy thing to do. Yeah. So that's why I said I wasn't completely asleep, but definitely sleepwalking. And for me, for the coronavirus and all this stuff happening, it almost was, I guess, an awakening. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, there's something, what you have can actually help people. And if you would have showed them before, they may not be in a hole right now, you know? So I feel like for sure this whole week has been the most activity that I've ever done. And it proves, because I enrolled 2 people this week, and, you know, it just shows when I'm actually doing the work, it works. It happens.
Yes. You know? Yes, absolutely. See that what you just said, because I was thinking about you this week, because I saw it. Like, you can't, when people are in motion, you can't not see it. You're gonna see it. And then I saw that your enrollments were up, and it was the only thing that you did was you just made a slight adjustment up here. And when you made that slight adjustment up here, like the floodgates started to open for you. So again, ladies and gentlemen, these are real life, real time demonstrations of what happens when you just make the decision to get into action. So that's a really great share. I'm really glad you shared that one. Thank you, Lady Kristen.
Hey, Ed. I'll go. This is Aurea.
Hey, Aurea.
Hi. So for me, it's been a little crazy the last week and a half. Like for most of us, you know, homeschooling the kids. I've already suspended them, expelled them, and fired myself all in a week. But what I've learned, and I've reached out to you, is that during this time, knowing that I need accountability partner, it helps me because it's no matter what, it doesn't matter what goes on because it's going on, obviously. I know that I need to set time to prepare for a presentation and that's it. It's in my book. It doesn't matter. Dinner, no dinner, eat a bowl of cereal. It's in my book.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, during this time, that has helped me a lot.
So, say that again in terms of like the automatic, like where is it on your calendar? Is it a schedule? Like, how do you do that?
So I do like, for instance, I'm doing a presentation this evening. So I have my alarm set for 5:30.
Okay.
For 6:45 and for 7 o'clock. And the reason for that is because I have so much going on here with the kids and getting them organized. I have to give myself that time to check myself where they're at and what I need to get done within the next 45 minutes to prepare for. So yes, it's a couple hours before the presentation,
Yep.
but I have to put an alarm on my phone to give me that time to prepare and not be like, oh my God, it's 7:30. I got to get in front of that. Oh, I didn't even color my hair. The grays are out. No. Like, so my first alarm is to put the color in my hair. The second alarm is to make sure my slideshows are ready. And then the third one is showtime.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's what I call positioning yourself for success. You all have to know what your parameters are. You got to be very familiar with your environment. And then you put things in place to ensure that you don't get off track, because you can anticipate how things are happening in your own household. Nobody knows your household better than you. So put things in place to ensure that you're on point, so that you don't get an overwhelm. So that's a really great example. Thanks for sharing that, Aurea. Who else? Talk to me about your first 3 weeks in the 90-day.
Hi, Ed. This is Sonia.
Sonia, hey, how are you, my friend? Good to hear your voice.
I'm good. I have been doing both sending new codes. I'm especially doing new presentations in Spanish. I didn't get yet my slides to hide what I don't want to see for some reason. So I will reach out someone to help me with that.
Okay.
But I have been reaching out to new people that I haven't talked before. And the number one, for sure, issue I get right now is, yeah, it sounds amazing, but why we don't wait a few weeks? I can't do it right now. I can't deal with this right now. I can't think about this right now. I have urgent things to do. So it's kind of a little bit frustrating to see that other people don't see the urgency. They think that everybody is staying at home like them, or that they are not working, or they are not traveling, or they will not travel. It's a little bit more challenging than I thought it would be from that point of view, but I see it as a practice. I'm like, well, I need to learn how to present. So I'm listening to other people presenting. I taking notes of how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And my intention for the next week is to keep presenting, even if I get, let's wait for later, unless you or anyone else have like a magic pill for that answer.
That's hilarious.
The only thing. But the truth of the matter is, it's a better answer than I used to get. I used to get like, oh, I have my own thing, or I have. Now it's more like, wow, yes, it's really a great model. I never saw about that.
Good. No, we'll come back to that, because I just want to hear about your activity in the first 3 weeks, but I will answer your question later. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what has been my activity. Has been more like showing this.
Good. Okay. Excellent. Who else is out there? Anybody else want to share before we move on?
Yeah.
Hello,
Hi,
Ed.
everybody. This is Elle. Hi, Ed.
Yes,
Hi,
Elle.
This is
everyone.
Tita.
Oh, sorry. Somebody else is
Go ahead.
So really quickly, on our events in California, was proud of us, how we managed that. We moved all of them online, considering the situation with the virus, and those went well. I have a few people that getting their money together and joining here shortly. I had one person who, she was going to join yesterday, but she got sick. So she wants to wait until she recovers. She's got a flu, hopefully not the virus.
Yeah.
But it's just, to me, I'm also been releasing online mastermind series for my women group to move everything online. So that's been actively working, something I've been working on as well. We've been having Russian presentations. We have another one tomorrow morning as well. We had one this morning. The presentation in Russian language. But for me, it's so interesting to watch how people react. You know, people I talk to, and one person this morning presentation, he was telling me, yes, it's interesting, it's great, but, and I'm okay, what's the but? He's like, well, right now the situation, so, you know, his head is in the virus situation, and then he starts telling me how many victims in Italy, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you watching. So, you know, it's just interesting to me to watch how some people just completely plugged into the news. And it's just like this division of, you can really see, but that's been interesting to watch. Yeah, so that's my share.
That's hilarious. Yeah, we will definitely talk about that. Anybody else want to talk about the first 3 weeks on the Blitz?
Hi, Ed. It's Sandra. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Sandra.
So my month started off great in March. I put 3 new personally sponsored people into the business, and then of course all this drama happened. But just to answer Sonia's question, I also was battling with a lot of people saying the same thing. You know, how can we focus on a business in times like this? But I think about myself, and I'm extremely concerned about my conventional business at this time, because if we need to close our doors, which we assume is going to happen from next week, and close the businesses down, for me to not trade is going to cost me hugely financially, probably cripple our businesses. So if somebody had to phone me now, regardless of who they were, and told me that they had another option for me, I would absolutely have a look at it. So I think we've just got to have that mindset that there are people, just like if it was normal and there was no coronavirus, some are going to say yes and some are going to say no. And we just got to go out there and just do it as we were doing before, because the right ones will say, yes, I want to look at it.
Agreed. Has anything changed for you, Sandra, in terms of your activity? Like from the start of the Blitz in the first 3 weeks, did you make any tweaks? Or because I know you've always been very consistent as it is. Did you make anything, was anything different for you, more focused, or helping other people become more focused?
I think, yes, we've been having quite a few group meetings where we've been trying to motivate each other and keep each other all positive through this. So I think we've been reaching out to each other more within the team. But one thing I do know that I won't be doing again is I spent half a day in front of the television watching Sky News, BBC, and CNN, and that was the most depressing thing. And I really just say to everyone, don't do it. You actually just don't want to know. We are aware of what's going on out there, but when you sit in front of a TV and actually catch up, it's quite depressing. So I'd rather not do it.
Right? Doesn't it suck you in?
No, it's terrible. It's too terrible.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Good stuff. I'm really grateful for everybody's shares and contribution. Anyone else on your first 3 weeks of the 90-day run?
Well, this is Tita.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, our first 3 weeks on the 90-day run, I mean, I have been running it. And then, you know, I had to hit a big wall while having a car accident. It was like boom, and everything really went boom. But I decided that, you know, even though sometimes rejections used to get to me. So I went for the no, and it got a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I think what helped yesterday, I mean, the one time you were calling and you couldn't contact somebody, and I was like, okay, well, he gets it too. Okay, this is so basically, I think I have grown from the part of getting the door slammed in my face, or the rejection of the no, or because they don't see the beauty in this. The only thing they see, like, only thing they see is the virus. And I'm like, well, nobody's traveling now. I said, like, you're not going to be locked in there forever. So, and then when it does, you get the discount. So, that's that. And then now this week going forward, I really want to hit my 30 eye decides a day, you know,
Okay.
or 30 contacts. That's my goal.
Love it, love it, love it. Shatita, do you have kids?
Oh God, yes.
How many kids do you have and what are their ages?
4, 22, 24, 6 and 4.
Okay. So that's right. You had the gap and 6 and the 4. So you got 2 little ones that can be very demanding and very distracting. And now they're home all the time. So how are you handling that?
We basically they pretend like they're calling people too. So we have that activity. We have the we have the entrepreneur activity. Then we have different activities during the day. So
I love it.
In the entrepreneur activity that they sit back there, they have their phone and their computer, like they're calling people too. So in another part of the room. So it's working for me for right now until they get bored.
That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Love it. Anybody else feel compelled?
Hey Ed, it's Neetu here.
You? Yes.
So we started off on a great 90-day run, contacting a minimum of 30 people a day. I also managed to sign up a couple of people at the beginning of the month. And then we went coronavirus flattened us. I'll just give you my perspective from being in the health industry. I belong to a lot of groups on WhatsApp, the South Coast doctor, the North Coast doctor, because I've got a practice in every area, North and South. And every minute somebody is downloading a paper on coronavirus. What's the latest?
Okay.
How are we going to get this? And every doctor that's a general practitioner is terrified out there right now, because they can, if the president decides we go on a lockdown, all private practices get shut down, and they start with the GPs deploying them first into the public hospital system.
Okay.
So you kind of have to realize that, I mean, I've realized that it is a human thing, and I have been stuck in this because I'm only human, and we're all concerned as to what's happening around us. I mean, my son had a cough at home and we thought it's a coronavirus. And I actually have a laryngitis at home, and people have already isolated me into my room. No one's coming near me. So it is quite a scare from that point of view. But what I've realized is this: the more we focus on this, we all know, as Sandra said, we all know what's happening out there. We know it's gone out of control. It's gone out of control, and it's just going to carry on happening. 70% of each population is probably going to get tested positive for coronavirus. Some will recover, some won't. We have to now shift our focus. And I really loved Johnny Gombri's call today, the interview that he did. And he said that we have to actually realize that money is a currency, and the currency is going to move with or without us. So we have to position ourselves in front of the current. And I totally got that. And I totally got the fact that he said that we're not selling travel here. We have a technology, and the sooner we realize that, the better it is. I mean, none of us can sell travel right now, but we can position ourselves in front of the current and actually sell the technology. And that's what's going to get me up and running from tomorrow. So I'm going to be up and running again on iBoom. Most likely we're going to be at home from now onwards. And as he said, the whole world is at home right now. It's never happened before. It's the first time in history. We're all part of history. So let's try and change the mindsets as much as we can.
It's good. That is a very good takeaway for sure. Are there any other takeaways for those of you that were able to get on that call this morning? What were some of the takeaways from that call with Horace and what was the young lady's name?
It was Martha.
Martha? Yeah. So any takeaways from that call? Because that was a good point, you two. That was a really good takeaway. Anybody else on that call? You can watch the replay if you weren't on it. I know the replay's up.
Yeah, I have one. I was trying to unmute myself. This is Elle. So when Martha was interviewed, she had one point. She said one of her team members in Sweden had a huge leg. One of his legs, one of his teams was big, and another one was not growing as fast. So he was disappointed. He was discouraged. He called her and talked to her, and she told him, okay, so how many people are you ready to talk to this many people in the next several hours to get this many sign up? He said yes. And then she said, I don't remember exactly how many days. A couple of days later, after exposing that number of people that she gave him on the ratio of signing up, he recruited 3 people on Monday, 3 personals on Monday, one day. So that was a big one, again, on the mindset. And I don't know where he was when he was discouraged, but once he started actually going through numbers,
yes,
it works for him. And so he hit the rank.
Action cures all, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It'll work wonders for your business and your life. Anybody else? That's a really great takeaway, Elle. Anybody else have any takeaways from the call this morning?
Hi, Ed, it's Melanie.
Hey, Melanie.
Yes, I absolutely loved the calls, and there was like so many points that came out there, but I loved Johnny going about the waves, the money waves, and we were saying everyone's taking their 2 hours of mental vacations, and obviously the real vacations are coming. So I thought that was a nice way to actually also use it, you know, to explain to people what you're doing. You know, you're taking this mental vacation.
Yeah.
And then I love the fact that Martha was also saying how much we're using technology. So I've also been doing a lot of research, just looking at how we're using technology. And I'm absolutely blown away by what the company's got to offer in terms of that. So I think we just need to be using it a lot more. And the Zooms have been phenomenal. So I'm super stoked to be part of this organization.
Sweet. Awesome. Awesome. Good stuff. Those are all really good shares. Yeah, you all are contributing a lot, which is awesome. You can't control what you can't control. You can only control what you can't control. Yeah. That's good, Letty. Daniel, you want to say something?
That's exactly what I was going to say, that she had said. You can only control what you can control. Everything else is going to happen anyway.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, good. So when we talk about the first thing was building, I think it was building slow. So what I put first? Yeah, building slow. So this business, you really get a chance to set, you can set your success GPS, and you can set it to arrive at your destination in one of 3 times. You can set it for 18 months, you can set it for 36 months, or you can set it for 5 years. And you're going to set it based on your ability to show up for your business every day and how consistent you're going to be. So if you're setting it for 5 years, that's what we would call a slow build. That's somebody who's building to a 6-figure income, but they're going to do it really slow. So it's going to take them 5 years to get there, which means you're probably engaging in your business anywhere from 8 to 12 hours a week consistently. That's what you're doing. So that's someone who says, all right, here's my life, here's my calendar, here are my obligations, and I'm okay going slow because this is really all I can allocate is 8 to 10 hours a week. So you do that, and that way you manage your own expectations. But you also understand that because you're being consistent, it's still going to yield results over time. It's just the way the business model works. It's compound over time. And if you're doing 8 to 10 hours a week, typically what that means for somebody who's going to build it to 6 figures in 5 years, it really means that some of those hours are going to be getting on calls like this in flight school, listening to some of the trainings throughout the week that we have now, and watching things that are kind of building your mind, and you're reading personal development, you're working on your internal house. And then the other half is you actually doing income producing activities where you're doing a presentation, you're sending out an eye to side, etc. Now, the build slow is what the majority of you all are going to do, and the majority of your organization, that's what they're going to do. It's important for you to understand this so that you don't get frustrated and you can manage your own expectations. Most people are not going to get into this to go fast. They're going to say they want to go fast, but they're really not going to do that. So when you understand that, you can help those individuals kind of create a chart, a course of action each week. And then according to who you're dealing with, like Sandra is someone who is way more task oriented than she is time oriented. Sandra, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, she does not look at her day and say, from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make phone calls, and from 8:30 to 9:30, I'm doing a presentation, and then from 9:30 to 10:30, I'm doing three-way calls. That's not how she organizes her day. Sandra says, I'm going to, I may have a rough goal of talking to this many people. I'm going to get this many people on the Zoom tonight. It's more of a task-oriented person because of the way her mind works, okay? Because she's more of an action person. She's like, I'll do it, and then I'll figure out the rest later. I'm just going to go do it. There are other people who are more time-oriented. So they'll say to you, okay, well, I can carve out from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I will do one Zoom presentation, and I will make 10 phone calls in that 2-hour slot that I have, right? They're more geared toward that because of how their mind works. So when you're dealing with a build slow, you give them those assignments, but you have to understand how they work. You can't project onto someone a task-oriented thing if that's not how they work. They may be more analytical, so they'll be more responsive to a time-oriented thing like a calendar, and write it on your calendar, schedule it, and they'll follow it. I'm almost 100% certain Sandra does not look at her calendar and then she acts accordingly. I think Sandra takes action, and maybe she'll put it in her calendar, but she's acting. She's more into the doing mode because that's how she's wired. So understanding how people move, it's important so that you can communicate effectively with your organization, okay? So the build slow is going to make up the majority of your organization. It doesn't mean they can't be effective. It just means that they're not going to get to a 4- and 5-figure monthly check anytime soon. It's just not going to happen. It's going to take them probably, a good 12 to 18 months before they get to a good 4-figure check. It'll take them another, 6 to 12 months on top of that before they get to a 5-figure check. You're talking about 2.5 years. It doesn't have to take that long, but that's just the track that they're on, and you just have to recognize that so that you can encourage them and support them the best way that you can within that framework. That way you're not trying to get them to do more and go faster, and that's just not who they are. That's not how they're moving. So that's a build slow, all right? Build fast. These people are easier to spot. You'll know who they are because they're calling you. They're calling you and they're telling you, what does this mean, senior director? What does this mean, executive director? What does this mean, SAPPHIRE? What is this rank I just hit? I don't even know how I hit it. Those are people that are the build fast, okay? The build fast are, can you send me the slides? I don't have the presentation. I don't have the latest presentation. I was on your presentation last night. I don't have those slides. Could you send me the update? Those are the build fast. What's the best way to get people registered for the next event? That's Vision in August. They're asking you questions. They're coming to you. The build fast they're just going. They're going. Like they're not waiting for you. They're not asking you for permission. They're just going out and they're getting it done. And you'll see, because they pop up you'll see who your top legs are. The build fast are always on your top legs. That's just who they are. They pop up, you see what they're doing. Okay, so it's a shorter, easier conversation to have. And so if you want to support a build fast, the best thing to do is to help them, teach them how to dig through, or help them to dig through their organization, because they're putting in people at a pretty quick rate. So you want to get on the phone with the build fast and say, listen, I see you're putting people in. Who here can we help to get to director? Who here can we help to get to senior director, executive, etc.? You want to have those conversations with the build fast. So that's how you want to move in that space. Build fast will have a goal of usually Sapphire, Ruby, Emerald. That's going to be in their target sites relatively quickly. So if you don't know how to chart out a course for them, then call one of your team leaders who does. Call someone who's a Sapphire or above, so that you all can get on the phone and create a strategic plan of action to get them there. With the calendar, so you'll see, you put your productive people, the leaders on the star pages, right? And then you put the various people that are in those legs, you write those down so you know where you need to be putting your time, energy, and attention based on who's moving, where the volume is, and how much volume is required from that leg to get you to the next rank. So if I'm dealing with go fast person, I'm going to look at their legs and find out where they need to hit their volume to get them to the next rank, so we can have those conversations. All right, and I'm going to tie that into the edification, and then building period. Okay, so some people they're not even building yet, and that's okay. You just have to identify who those people are. Some people are building period, some people are not. Some of those people that are not building, we'll talk to them about the boomerangs. Talk to them about customer acquisition, because anybody can do that. It's one of the easiest things in the world to do. And because of the way things are stacking up right now, we're going to have an incredible burst of energy and increase in the travel space when this passes, whenever that is. Okay, it might be 8 weeks, could be 12 weeks, I don't know. But when that happens, the trajectory of activity in that space will be monumental. I promise you that. Because when you take something away from people, when people have been accustomed to being able to move freely, and then you give them their freedom back, it's going to be game on. So acquiring customers is a great activity for people to do because it doesn't cost anything. Like especially now. So we have two things that are working in our favor. Number one, there's a lot more people that are available and sitting at home doing nothing. So it's a lot easier to get people on presentations. So you can take your rate of exposures to a very high level. Number two, because all of those people are sitting at home and doing nothing, they're more amenable to tuning into the technology, and then you give them an assignment. I'm going to gift you a travel code, and my assignment to you is for you to go ahead, and I want you to chart out 5 destinations and 5 travel experiences. I want you to go crazy with your imagination what that's going to be. Okay, and I want you to give it to me in detail. One of those destinations is going to be Paris, France. I want to stay at the 4 Seasons. I want room service 2 times a day. I want dinner on the terrace, the Chateau La Mignon, like whatever. You have them break it all down in terms of their imagination and their vision. Give them a fun activity to do. So you're linking having fun, daydreaming, and you're linking that with the travel code that you're gifting to them, which is pretty cool. All right. So that's working in our favor. We have more time, and we have the ability to organize and structure our days. Like a day doesn't feel right to me if I'm not doing multiple presentations a day. Like it just does. It feels weird if I'm not doing it now. Whereas before, when I had to be running around and I was, there was more stuff to be doing, it was a little bit different. Like I could get away with just doing one presentation a day, but now if it's not at least 2 or 3, it feels weird. So we're all in a very unique opportunity to seize that. So building is going to come in those phases. There's going to be build slow, there's going to be build fast, and then there's going to be building period. Some people are not going to be building at all. So help them to acquire customers, have that conversation so they're not just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. With the Edification, well, let me say this to Sonia's, and then Sandra addressed this in terms of Sonia's point. There are going to be people that are going to be in different headspaces, and you just get to decide how you're going to lead and who's going to set the tone. Are you going to be the thermometer, or are you going to be the thermostat? So the thermostat sets the temperature, the thermometer responds to the thermostat. And if you allow yourself to continuously respond and react to other people's points of view, whether it's the media or your prospects, and you decide you're going to follow them, I promise you, if you do that, you'll make zero money, zero, none, and you will not build a business. If you know that you're the thermostat and you're setting the temperature, and whoever you're talking to, they're the thermometers, and you talk to them as if they're thermometers, then they have a choice. They can stay in their woe is me, gloom, doom space, or they can get out of it and follow you. When I pick up the phone to call a prospect, I promise you, I'm not thinking, I think I'll follow this prospect. That thought never comes into my realm. My thought is, I'm going to give this person an opportunity to either follow me or stay where they're at. It's up to them. It's very simple. So that's the mindset that's really important. And we have real things that we're dealing with for sure. And I have been making sure that I'm doing my own reading on what's happening in various segments of the market, because I got friends that are in the restaurant industry, and I really feel for the restaurant industry, because what they're going through right now, unfortunately, a lot of restaurants will never be able to reopen, even if this passes in the next 3 weeks. Some of those restaurants are done. It's a wrap already, because it's that volatile, it's that difficult to sustain a successful business in the restaurant industry and then build it up. So a lot of those places were, literally, like most people, check to check. So now that that's been taken away, they're not going to be able to reopen their doors. So I understand that, and so I'm looking through my phone and I'm calling my friends who are servers, because I know they're not working, and I'm getting them onto these presentations. So that's something that's important, just to be aware of the different segments of the economy that are being impacted. Some of my friends, it's no impact at all, because they were already working from home in the corporate space anyway. So they're okay. They can handle that. So again, just being aware of where different segments of the marketplace are, so that when you're talking to people, you can have greater empathy for their dynamic and their situation and their come from, and be much more useful as you're talking to them about getting them in front of the information and the opportunity. Edification. So this was something that Mr. Holton Buggs really broke down for us, that I can share from the SAPPHIRE Splash 2-day intensive that we did with him. And it was really, really good. And I talked to the Sapphires in our group about it. So when you're talking about edification, it's very important that you identify the leaders within our organization that you want to leverage. Okay, identify the leaders that you want to leverage, and find parts of their story that you can use when you're edifying them. So one of the things that I did with the leaders that I'm working with, I just sent them some bullet points that they could use to edify me. So as a leader, you all want to make sure that the people that you're working with in your organization, send them some bullet points about you so that when they're edifying you, they know what to say. You know, so it's just easier to have a couple of bullet points, and then they can develop a script, and it's the same script pretty much every time, but it helps a lot when you're communicating that. So let's go back to the example of a build fast person. So, and it's so funny as I'm saying this, I'm thinking about where are you? Hey, Terrence, I didn't see you were on at the beginning. Good to see you, brother. Congratulations on your nuptials, my friend.
Thanks very much, Ed.
Hi.
Hey, are you here too?
Yeah, I was on earlier, but my phone died, so we switched to Terrence's.
Well, congratulations to you, the lovely queen and bride. Well done and well doing.
Thank you very much, Ed.
That's so awesome. Ariana, good to see you too. I didn't see you jumped on there. Okay, I don't know where you went, but I was thinking about someone that I'm working with. So let's say this. So we have a build fast person, right? And they put in, let's say, I don't know, 10 to 12 personals pretty quickly. So I'm going to look at those personals, and what I'm going to say is, and this is the same dynamic no matter where you're at in your business. Hey, let's say it's Melanie, okay? I say, Melanie, I see you just put in 12 personals. Let's identify in those 12 personals who would like to get the Accelerator bonus this week. So who wants to get the It Takes Two bonus this week? Let's find who those people are. Out of those 12 people, let's say we find 4 that say, yes, I want to get the It Takes Two bonus. Great. So what Melanie does is she gets on the phone and she's talking to those 4 people, and she's saying, listen, I just got off the phone with my sponsor, and he said that he's willing to do a launch call for 4 people that really are serious about getting their It Takes Two. Now, he doesn't normally do this, but he said he would do it for my group. And I want you to understand, he's done this, right? So then she goes into edifying me. She's going to take bullet points from what I gave her. She's going to edify me and say, okay, he told me that he'd be willing to do it for you, but I need to know that you're serious. And if you're serious and you want to make money fast instead of slow, and you want to hit, that goal. So then Melanie's going to spend a little bit of time. Okay, so number 1, she identifies who wants to get the It Takes Two. So they all 4 say yes. So do you want him to do the launch call? Yes, great. Now let me ask you another question. Are you willing to commit to do 4 presentations a week? Because you told me your goal was $3,000 a month. That was your first goal. You said you wanted to make $3,000 a month. So are you willing to do 4 presentations a week? Are you willing to commit to enroll at least 2 people a month? Are you willing to commit to get at least 2 to 3 people to register for the next event in the same month? They say yes, yes, yes. So those are 3 checkpoints, okay? First checkpoint is, are you willing to commit to do 4 presentations a week? So if it's a brand new person, they're gonna have a launch event. So they're gonna watch me do the presentation. They'll have another launch event. I'll do the second presentation, or Melanie will do the second presentation. They're going to do a third event, and that third event, they're going to do it. They will have watched me do either 1 or 2, or me and Melanie split it up, but they're going to watch the first 2. The third one they're going to do, one of us will be there to do cleanup because they're going to mess it up. And then the 4th time, they're going to do it again, and one of us will be there to help clean it up. And then after that 4th time, the next week, they do it, they're on their own, okay? They're gonna do their 4 presentations because we took them through the orientation process. We said, listen, watch, listen, everything that he's doing and saying, watch and listen, take notes, watch and listen with everything that Melanie's doing and saying, okay, now it's your turn. And now it's your turn again. And then we'll give you, we'll clean up whatever mess you made. And then over the next couple of days, because it's only 4 presentations in a week, you can watch the presentations, you can watch the recordings, you can get better, you can learn, you can practice, blah, 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 blah. The following week, you're going to put your 4 Zooms on the calendar. You're going to do your own presentations. you're also going to commit to enroll at least 2 people. Now, it's a brand new person, so the brand new person is going to enroll more than 2 typically. Typically, the brand new person who's a go now, who's a build fast, who says, I want to get the It Takes Two, I want to make $3,000 a month, they're going to enroll at least 10 in their first month anyway. So that's already done, but that's a minimum of 2. That's a second checkpoint, okay? Enrolling 2 people each month. Commit to that. Third checkpoint is getting 2 to 3 people to register for the next event. So again, brand new person, because we have that special $50 ticket that you can purchase at the time of enrollment. Yeah, Sandra, I think that's that's available now. I might be wrong, but they made an announcement. Am I the only one that saw that announcement? They said that they were going to make the $50 tickets available for Vision. Did anybody else see that?
No.
I heard that.
Ed, the tickets are available for new TSAs that join at $50, but for the
Right.
existing TSAs, I can't find the tickets.
I got you. Okay. Well, for the existing ones, that's not as pressing because we can figure that out. But for the new people, this is why it's so powerful. Obviously, with the new people that you're bringing on, it's easier for them to get those 2 to 3, like right out of the bat, to spend the $50 to register for the next event. So that's going to be a lot of traction. In terms of Sandra, we'll figure that out. We'll have to. If you haven't already, can you just send an email to support@boomerang to find out where those tickets are accessible? And then what we'll do is make a point to ask on, if we don't get an answer by flight school, we'll just, I can message Mark while we're live and he'll answer that in real time. But Chris Cruz is saying that she saw it. So Sandra, you can message Kristen Cruz privately. She could tell you how to get your ticket for Vision. All right, so that's the build fast. And see, because Melanie edified me properly to her new people, when I come into the picture, they're going to be very attentive. They're going to feel very special, and they're going to want to do good because I'm we call it the expert with the out of town case or whatever, because Melanie has the relationship, and then they have the respect for me from the business standpoint. We put it all together. Okay, that's why edification is so important. Now, when Melanie brings me into the equation, I am going to immediately edify Melanie. I'm going to talk about her heart. I'm going to talk about her drive. I'm going to talk about her courage. I'm going to tell the story of how I made her get up in front of a room full of people, and she was not expecting me to do it, and she was incredibly uncomfortable, and she didn't want to get up in front of that room full of people, but she got up anyway. And I'm going to talk about how I have so much respect for her getting out of her comfort zone, doing something I know she didn't want to do because she's more committed to her success than she is to her excuses. So I'm going to tell some stories about her, edify her, build her up, and everything that I say is going to be 100% true. Edification is not about exaggerating. It's not about puffing people up or lying. It's about edifying, saying things that are uplifting about the people that you're working with. Now, the people that are in her organization are going to look at her differently. They're going to be like, damn, well, she said that this guy, Ed, was a freaking big shot, which he clearly is, but he's like blowing up her spot. I didn't know that about Melanie. Okay, I really need to be paying attention to her. So this is how edification leads to greater stability in your business organization, because now she's leveraging me to help build her paycheck. So anytime I come into the picture, it's simply to help her grow bigger, better, and faster. And when I come into the picture, I'm empowering her with my edification so that when I leave, it continues to grow bigger, better, and faster. Because you don't ever want to put yourself in a situation where you're, presentation woman or presentation man. That's not what this is about. This is about building up people so that they can be empowered to build their own organization. And then Melanie's going to rinse and repeat within her organization and do the same thing all over again. So she's going to build and develop those people that she put in, build them up, and teach them how to do the same thing with their people, and it duplicates throughout your organization. Now you have perpetual growth. Now you have greater stability because you got leaders that are starting to come in levels deep. You know, you want leader after leader after leader after leader after leader in your organization. That's how you lock a leg when it comes to getting the volume coming in every single week, getting paid every single week, making four-figure, you know, you want comma checks, right? Checks with commas every week. That's the only way you get checks with commas every week, is by developing those leadership levels within each leg of business that you're building, okay? And understand that just because we're building two legs, I'm not talking about just one or two legs. We all have multiple legs. You got a personal and a personal and a personal on your right leg. That's 3 legs of business on your right leg. So you want to focus on driving depth. Where's my chart? As I'm thinking about it. Let's see, I think it's here. So, actually, maybe it's here. Is this, are you following me on this in terms of what I'm saying? Are you all getting this? Is it making sense?
Yeah, Bob.
Yes, Ed.
Okay. I want to give you the right number for that formula. I think it's 4. It might be in my phone. Okay, while I'm looking for that, I'm looking for these numbers. Edification also is when you're building your structure. Okay, if I enroll, let's say I enroll Judy. Okay, Judy, I enroll, and Judy brings in 3 personals, and one of those 3 personals ends up hitting Sapphire. Okay, so Judy enrolled 3 personals, and one of those 3 hit Sapphire. Well, the person that I'm going to be working with is the person that hit Sapphire. I'm not going to be working with Judy because Judy's not ready yet. She's not there yet because she only has 3 personals. But one of those ends up being a build fast, go now person. So the way that I'm going to work with that build fast, go now person is I'm going to say, Judy, listen, you got a rock star in your group. I want you to get that person on the phone to do a 3-way. Because I want you to see how I'm going to work with that person in your organization to help solidify your business, that particular leg of your business. I include Judy in the conversation. And she's just going to listen. And I'm going to start working with that person that hit Sapphire so that we can get them structurally to Ruby, okay? And Judy's going to listen. And while I'm having the conversation, I'll say a couple of nice things about her character, you know, who she is as a human being. I can't really edify Judy from a business standpoint because the person that's in her, that she sponsored, is a higher rank than she is. So I can talk about the qualities of her heart and her character. I can't talk about her business standpoint, but I'm including Judy in that. That Sapphire continues to go and grow. And then let's say somewhere down the line, Judy decides she's ready to step up and she starts building and she hits Sapphire. Well, see, what I've done is I've created an environment where Judy and that person can still maintain a healthy relationship from a business standpoint. Because I never de-edified Judy just because the person she sponsored is a higher rank than she was, right? I never did that. I didn't go around Judy. I didn't call that Sapphire without telling Judy and start working with that Sapphire without telling Judy and then leaving her out of the equation, because then the Sapphire is like, well, damn, if Ed's working with me, I don't need to listen or pay any attention to Judy at all. Like, she's not even a part of the equation. See, if I were to do that, then I'm de-edifying Judy, and I'm possibly sabotaging their future relationship when it comes to business, because I've already taken Judy out of the equation. But if I tell Judy, listen, get me on the phone with this new Sapphire, I want you to listen to how I'm going to work with them to lock in that leg of your business. I keep her in as a part of the process, and we're doing it together. So that person that's a Sapphire doesn't lose any light for Judy And when Judy is ready to step up, they can still maintain their business relationship. So these are just little things that make a big difference when it comes to edification. So the long and the short of it is, any opportunity that you have to edify, do it. I personally believe is something that we don't do it enough. We can do it a lot more. And when you do, you'll see how it impacts your business. Now, the inverse is also true. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a snide comment, if you say something negative about another leader or someone that's a part of your leadership line, you are lighting a fuse to your business. You're lighting a fuse. You're lighting a fuse. I'm just telling you. It's not about, here's what I want you to understand about edification, okay? It's not about making somebody a god. You know, it's not about worshiping someone, or I can't stand that crap. Like that's not what edification is about. Edification, I'm doing this is for social media. Edification is about, it's about positioning and letting people know that you're working with excellence. And it's about utilizing that leverage. So you may have, for example, if you're on the flight school and you're on, let's say you're watching it with maybe one of your team members, and you're like, damn, these jokes are so like old, or man, they sure do talk long. You may think that that's nothing. No, that's something. You're de-edifying the flight school. You're sabotaging your business. You're shooting yourself in the foot. You're taking away the power that they have to help you build your business. It doesn't matter what your personal feelings are. It doesn't matter if you think it's long or not. Nobody cares about that. The fact is that there is content that is specific to the success of your business, of your paycheck. So it makes no sense for you to de-edify any part of that. It's not even that serious, right? That's number one. Number two, if there's someone, and I don't believe we have this, because we are in the honeymoon phase of our overall business and our company. And so I don't really think this will happen for a couple of more years. It usually takes like, I don't know, 3 to 4 years typically for that stuff to kind of kick in a little bit, because it's just natural. But I feel like everybody genuinely likes everybody, and there's good relationship. Well, even if that wasn't the case, me as a leader, if I don't like someone personally, you would never know it. You would never know. You would never know. I'm going to edify that person the same way I edify anybody else. I'm going to work with that person the same way I work with anybody else, because my job is to make sure that you get paid. It's not about my personal feelings. Oh, I'm just, I just had to speak my piece. I had to keep it real. Yeah, real dumb. It's real dumb. Listen, the thing that you do with edification, you edify where you want your attention and focus to go. So if there is someone, there are instances maybe where you may not vibe with somebody personally. That's okay, but don't talk about that person. Focus on the person that you are working with. Like, edify that. There's never a reason to de-edify any part of the process. Now, does it mean that we don't address situations? No, I'm not saying that. If there's a situation that comes up, we have to address it at all times. If anyone is behaving in a way that you feel is not in alignment with leadership and our principles and iBoomerang, then yeah, we will address that situation. I don't care who it is. I don't care, me, any leader. I don't care who it is. If that ever takes place, it must be addressed. And you do it with at least two parties. So if Sandra's like, hey, I didn't like when Ed did this. Well, Sandra gets Ed and a team leader on the phone. So she's going to get somebody who's emerald or diamond. It would be a diamond. It would be a diamond or above. She would get a diamond or above on the phone and say, I need to address this. So it would be me, Sandra, and a diamond or above having a conversation. It's not it's not wise for Sandra just to talk to me. Well, Sandra and I have a different relationship, but if she and I didn't know each other and she felt like I did something that was wrong, she would have to get a third party, because otherwise it'll be he said, she said, and maybe I'm not a good communicator one-on-one or whatever. There's all these variables. So you always have a third party if there's something that you feel like needs to be addressed. But again, ladies and gentlemen, that's really not going to come up for a couple of more years, because we're in the honeymoon phase and we're rocking right now. But that's just kind of life. I'm just kind of giving you that so you understand it. But that's the power of edification, but it's also the power of de-edification. Edification can really solidify your legs of business and really lock them in for the long haul. And that's what you want. You want solid, perpetually growing residual income that continues to increase month after month after month after month. My only focus is making sure, it's not my only focus, but making sure that I'm giving myself a pay raise every single month. So with the It Takes Two promotion, okay, here are the names that I have. I got Sandra, I have Neetu, I have Aurea. What I need from you all right now is the number. So Sandra put in 3 frontline. I think Aurea did 4 frontline. Neetu, I don't know what the number is for you, but if you could just put the number that you actually enrolled, if you did 2 or 3 or 4, I want to make sure that we have a list to date of any of you that have done the It Takes Two promotion. Thank you, Merle. Merle Westcott got 2. Good job. Yep, Sandra's got 3. Aurea's 4. Okay, cool. And Sandra, the 2 names that you gave me, I don't think you actually gave me the numbers. If they just do 2, if they did more than 2, let me know on the. You can do it on the WhatsApp since you already sent me their names. Okay, I got Merle, and then send me Glennis too. Or Glennis, you're on here. Was it 2, or did you do more than 2? Excellent. It's fantastic. So if there's anybody else that has already gotten their 2 enrollments, coach or above, just put your name in there. So if it's more than 2, make sure you put the number. If I don't see a number, then I can't. I'm gonna know that it was only 2. And if you're sending me their names, I need their first and name. I got it. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so great. Kristen Cruz got her 2. Fantastic. It's awesome. Congratulations to all of you that have gotten your 2 enrollments for the It Takes Two promotion. That qualifies you for 7 levels deep. So really quickly, just so that you all know, because I know sometimes I send, I'm communicating every day. And I get it, like for some of you, sometimes you can miss some of the stuff because there's a lot of things coming at you. But I did want to go over this really quickly so that you understand the power of it. There we go. So with the Fast Start Accelerator bonus, so check this out. You're getting $22.50 for every coach pack that you enroll. You're getting $45 for every business class pack that you enroll. You're getting $90 for every first class pack that you enroll. So they've increased the payout on the direct commission bonus. All right. So if you were to enroll 10 first class packs, that's a fast $900 that you just made. Now what happens is when you enroll your second person, that activates all 7 levels in the Fast Start Accelerator bonus, so that when you help the person or persons that you've enrolled to get there to, you're getting paid on those levels. And the power of it is this. If Tommy enrolls Chris, who's first class, he makes a $90 direct commission. He enrolls Stacy and puts Stacy under Chris. He makes another $90. It's $180, and now he's qualified to go 7 levels deep. Well, he's already going deep because he put Stacy under Chris, so he's got he's on his 2nd level now. When he helps them get there to, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. He's already going to be 6 levels in depth, which means he's getting paid on their direct commission when they enroll, either $18 on that first level or $12 on the second. And the funny thing is this, they're paying you more when you get to the 7th level. You're going to get $24 when you get to the 7th level because of the number of actors that you have. Now, I know it's not visual. It's not fair for me to talk about it without being visual. And I'll post this on the, I'm putting this on the page right now on the 3F Global page. So here's what's happening. We all can see what's happening. A lot of people are enrolling in network marketing like right now. Like I think I've said this to you before. I have a lot of friends who are in network marketing, and we're in each other's chats and groups. So I can see the activity, I can see the enrollments, I can see who they're helping to rank up. So I want you all to be very clear that during this time, people are going to either seize the opportunity in the window, or they're going to sit and wish and watch and wait. And the choice is always going to be yours. So as we move into the 4th week of this 90-day blitz, it's 13 weeks total. So we got 10 weeks remaining, okay? 10 weeks is 70 days. There's so much that can change in 70 days in our business. And if all you get from this process is a level of consistency, and commitment with your IPAs, your income producing activities, that's a beautiful thing. Some of you are going to go to the next level, just in terms of your leadership and your capacity, because you're pushing yourself. It's all about how you decide you're going to show up each and every day. My question to you is, what is your target? What is your target in terms of monthly income? Have a target. This is something, a word I started using after the 10X Growth Conference that I went to. You know, having a specific target so that you say, okay, by the end of March, my target is $10,000 a month. Well, what does that look like in terms of activity? What does that mean? The number of people that I need to help to get to SAPPHIRE, the number of people I need to help to get to executive or senior director. And obviously, you have to lead by example. So if you're not a director yet, then that's your target, right? That might be your first target. Let me get to director. My target is $3,000, for the month of March and hitting director. My target is whatever it is, just depends on how you're building, but have a specific target for yourself so that you got something to work towards, and that creates accountability for your activity. Finding someone that can hold you accountable, someone that you trust, someone that's not going to BS you, someone that's in that same headspace of achievement. Doesn't have to be in your team. Maybe they're in your team, maybe they're not. Maybe they're just a high achiever in what they do. It's kind of like having a workout partner. You have a workout partner, but you all have different careers, but you come together and you work out because you believe in fitness. If you believe in financial fitness and success, find somebody that believes in that financial fitness and success so you all can hold each other accountable for your target. You know, I have somebody that I have an accountability with, because my target was $40,000 a month and I didn't hit my target. I did not hit my target. So that person's holding me accountable. There's certain things I got to do to make up for that. So it's important that you, again, what Oria talked about in terms of setting her watch as the countdown approaches for the presentation tonight, she's positioning herself for success because she knows that the environment that she's in may not be conducive at all times for that. For any of you that are dealing with children, you have other, hey, how you doing, handsome? You have other things happening in your household. Number one, make sure that they understand what's going on. Hey, Blake, what's Daddy doing right now?
A webinar.
A webinar? Why am I doing a webinar? You know, he knows what I'm doing. He knows that I'm doing a webinar. I'm still working on the why I'm doing the webinar. But make sure that you're having those conversations with your environment so that you have, here, move that away, so that you have the support that you're going to need, and it's a recognition that not at all times is your environment going to be is going to be in alignment with your outcome. So being clear about that is important. Having the accountability partner is important, and most important is the accountability mirror. And that's when you're looking at yourself at the end of each day. And I want you all to feel good about what you did. You know, not letting a day go by where you don't do something for your business. Phone calls, your own Zoom presentation, getting somebody on an eye side. You want to do something every day that gets you closer to your outcome, closer to your goal. And 18 months, 36 months, 5 years, those are the times that you all can set for yourself where you want to be free. That's your financial freedom calendar. 18 months, 36 months, 5 years. So I've seen it over and over again. The 36 month is without fail. Like, I've never seen someone with a goal in that 36 month time frame and they don't get to a place where money's not an issue. I'm not saying they've gotten rid of all their debt. I'm just saying that they have so much money coming in at that point that they can now have a very aggressive plan to get rid of all their debt because they have the income coming in. 36 months has been the proving ground, because I've done it personally. I've helped other people do it. I've seen other people do it. I have friends that have done it. 18 months is really for those of you that don't have time to waste. You don't have a plan B. You don't have any other income coming in. Like, this is it for you. Like, this is what you got. You've got to make it happen. So that's for the 18 months of the people that just want to make it happen in 18 months. And then the 5 years is for those of you that are a little bit more leisure. You're kind of comfortable. You got you got a nice pension. You got another income. You're a dual income household. You're pretty comfortable, but you're loving the iBoomerang experience. And you're like, yeah, sure, I could, another $10,000 a month coming in wouldn't hurt. Yeah, that's the 5-year plan for those of you that are kind of comfortable and, you don't really have any debt. You're just good. You're just having fun. But those are the tracks that you're going to run on. So when you understand it, make every day count. Make every day count, because every day weighs something. And because of the dynamics of where we're at right now, I talked about this last night. I was thinking about Anne Frank and the Holocaust, where people were in hiding and they went to hide in an attic. They were hiding in a basement so they wouldn't be detected by the Nazis. And they thought they would be hiding for maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks. And it turned into 3 years. And during those 3 years, they very rarely would risk going outside to catch a breath of fresh air, because if somebody saw them, they would easily spy. There were a lot of spies. There were a lot of people that were reporting on them. So they literally had to live in a freaking attic for 3 years. And yet they prevailed. And yet many of them, not all, but many of them came out on the other side. When I think about my ancestors who came here in chains, and they were stockpiled in boats, in the bottoms of boats, and they were next to each other and they were on top of each other, and they were in this space where they could not move physically. So you know what happens when you just lay on one side too long? What happens? Your arm falls asleep. Your limbs atrophy. And there's no space to go to the restroom, so you end up living in excrement and feces and vomit. And that's your journey. And that's what it is for multiple weeks, because you couldn't just, it wasn't a cruise ship, it was a slave ship of people who were enslaved, Africans who were enslaved, but that was their dynamic for months. And some of them came into more horrific circumstances, but came through that and survived all of that just so that I could be here. So understand that all of us are in a space right now where we are enduring something that is unexpected, and we're having to shoulder a greater sense of responsibility for each other than we have probably in our lifetime. I understand that when I go out into the world, I have to be just as vigilant, because I don't want to inadvertently infect somebody else either. I understand my responsibility. I'm thinking about the collective. I also understand that what takes place during this time is something that we will talk about for years after this time has passed. And see, I don't want any of you to look back on this time and say, you know what, I was a little wimp. I was a wimp during that time. I allowed fear and negativity to run the day, and I really didn't do much during that time. I was just kind of going along to get along, and I was down in the dumps, and I didn't really work out that much, and I put on all this weight, and I didn't really build my business. And you don't want that to be your legacy. This is how generations are defined, is how they respond in times of supreme difficulty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the human spirit cannot reveal itself unless it is tested. And we are all being tested right now. It is an opportunity for us to rise up and to live our life as the example, so that when people look at you and they see you on social media, they see you doing presentations, they see you promoting your opportunity, they see you being constantly positive and not feeding into all of the other stuff that's out there, they're going to remember you. And they're going to say, wow, I remember during that time, I remember always going to your page and you were always positive. You were never bitching, whining, moaning, and complaining. You were always positive. You were always empowering. I remember that. So it's our opportunity. I know, 1 minute. It's our opportunity to define this experience from a human perspective. We have no control over what the virus is going to do, but we have all the control on how we're going to respond. And this is our opportunity. And that's the beauty of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you do this next week, it can impact your business for the next 3 years. What you do in this 4th week, it'll be the official first month of the 90-day run. It can set the tone for the rest of the 90-day run. How you show up each and every day, even when you don't feel like it. Trust and believe. You're not always going to feel like it. Trust and believe. You're going to have moments of overwhelm. You're going to have moments of like, you're going to have that. It's impossible for you not to have that. Just don't let it define you. Don't let it run your day. And if you keep showing up in spite of those things and setting that tone and understanding that, guess what? People are going to continue to enroll in business. They're going to continue to sign up for network marketing opportunities. Is it going to be yours, or is it going to be somebody else's? And as Johnny talked about, the money's going to keep moving. The money's going to keep moving no matter what. Question is, who's got your money? Who's got your money? Somebody, you're like, you want to make sure that your bills are paid this month. Who's got your money? Who's signing up first class? Who's coming in business class? Who's coming in coach? Who are you going to help get to their goals? Somebody going to spend some money. Trust and believe that. They might as well spend it with you so they can make some money too. Focus on the opportunity. Paint the vision for the explosion of travel in the future. Because guess what? If this were to be the reality ongoing, we would all be screwed, right? Obviously, this too shall pass. So you got to paint the vision of where people are going to be when this passes. Don't speculate on the time. You don't know how long this is going to be. It could be 4 weeks, could be 8, could be 12. We don't know. But you can, with certainty, speak about what's going to happen when it passes and how people, myself included, I will be sprinting. We will be sprinting to the airport. Trust and believe that, to go away, to get out. Because when that's taken away, you get it back, you're like, oh, right? So if there's anything that thank you, son, any of the Sapphires want to add as we close out our weekly Fast Start, Go Sapphire Fast Start training, anything that you all want to add on the building, slow, building fast, building period, edification, anything at all, I want to make sure that you all have the floor if there's anything you want to say before we close it out. All good?
All good. Thank you, Ed.
Have an awesome and amazing, soulful rest of your Soulful Sunday. We got presentations at 6, 7, 8, and 9 o'clock. I will post those. I'll send it out, put them on the pages and all of that. We'll see you all tonight on some of these presentations. Have a great day and a phenomenal week. Much love.
Thank you, Ed. It was amazing.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, Ed. Really appreciate it.
You got it.
Are you done?
No. Sonia or Amina? Nope.
You have to wash your hands too. Right there. Why do you have to have the songs after the end? You're gonna turn it off.